Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla. Today bringing you another episode of Car Rides with Schla. I was listening to a previous episode because I remember yesterday I was concerned about the plosive issue, and I realized that we're not even to the episodes yet where I have the new plosive filter. I totally tripped out about that because in 27 I'm talking about how I didn't check the tracking for the plosive filter. I think it's possible that 28 and 29 have the plosive filter, but that's just crazy to me because I thought there was something wrong with the placement of this mic, but the truth is we're not even to this mic yet. So I don't even know. We're just going to have to keep chilling for the time being. I could listen to them. I probably should be, but like I said, I've been pretty overwhelmed with not only working more hours than I've ever worked before. I'm really, really pushing it. I've never worked this many hours in a week. And then on top of that, we have the additional responsibility of car rides with Schla. So already we went from, I know you guys, you've said this a million times. I went from probably having some of the least amount of responsibilities of any person on the planet. I was really in the upper echelon of that. Just have very kind parents, or really a very kind father, because I don't really know that my mom had much to do with that. Well, what I'm saying is it wasn't really up to her anyway. And also, I don't really know that. Actually, it's tricky. I mean, I guess my parents are kind in different ways, but it was the kindness of my father that basically allowed me to have this super duper no responsibilities life for a pretty long time. I mean, when I got out of high school, I didn't start working until 3 years after that or something. I mean, that's pretty crazy. It was a pretty long summer vacation, you could say. So yeah. Where am I going with this? What? It was a very long summer vacation, and I had no responsibilities for a very long time. Now, out of the blue, I'm working a full-time job after... And bear in mind, too, when I was in school, I was really taking it easy. I definitely could have been in higher classes, although I was, pretty depressed at the time, so there was a motivation issue, but there wasn't a potential issue. I absolutely had the potential to be good. You know, if I had the right drive or whatever, if I had the right inclinations and stuff, I'm sure it would have worked out fine. But I just didn't, and that has a lot to do with it. Because I didn't know my calling. I mean, I just did nothing, basically. In school, if I knew my calling, I would have done so much more. But again, my character is my character for that reason. I don't know if it was ever meant to be. I think I've talked about this before. I've been built up to be such a odd person, with such almost out of touch perspectives on things, because what's happened to me does not typically occur to other people. I'm assuming it was meant to be. Obviously now I'm a bit annoyed that I never went to college, but then I also think maybe that was for some kind of reason, because it could be the case that I'm just not supposed to have went to college or something, because I'm supposed to have an alternate perspective, or I could just be coping in saying all this. I don't really have any idea. I guess it's still something I can think about and consider, but with what's on my plate now, I don't think so. Now, I could see if my show takes off and then that's my job, I could probably also go to college, which that honestly, I haven't even thought of that until this point, but that may be what I do. I'm not certain though, because I don't know that I really need to go to college. It's just something that I think would be nice to be educated. Like, I like to learn, but then of course the school is not really, I mean, it could honestly be a waste of time for me, in all honesty, but I guess I just think it would be nice to get to go and experience it, and I'm sure I could with my streaming career, because if you're doing content like this, it's super flexible. I could be working anywhere at any time, just recording, posting content. So there's not really a reason why I wouldn't be able to also go to college while doing that, because I'm not going to be doing anything else like friends or parties or anything like that. So I could easily see that happening, but obviously for the time being I can't, because I have a job and I can't really lose that income for now. So that is kind of a cool idea. Again, I don't know if it's justified, because it's incredibly costly, and it's still, I don't know that it's going to be worth it, because if I'm going to have my show, it's not really going to matter. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. But it's just an interesting idea I thought of. That's all. I just now, too, I wasn't... Not like this is something I care about. But I just don't know what I would learn from college that I wouldn't... You know, I think maybe I'm underselling it a bit. I think if I had a really good teacher, there probably is something I could get out of it. I don't know if I'm just being over-optimistic, but I do think that. I don't think that's that crazy of a hypothesis. What I was going to talk about is I was going to charge my audio recording phone, because it's down to 30% and I had forgotten to, which is not fun. It should be fine though, because it's still only down to 29%, and it's been 8 minutes, so I don't think we're going to have any issues. What I was thinking though, and what I was thinking about saying is, because I always have that OCD with charging things, trying to keep it close to 50%. I used to think it was between 40 and 60, but now I believe you want to err on the side of slightly lower. So the peak range, if there is a peak range, is probably more like high 40s as opposed to exactly 50. That's my hypothesis, if I had to guess, based on what GPT said and the way GPT explained how the voltages work, and it's basically, instead of a 40, between 40 and 60, it's more like a between 35 and 55, because that would be equidistant from a median point of 47.5, which I think is superior to just a full-blown 50. So you want to err on the side of lower with a battery, but not by much. Not by too much. And I do try to take care of my batteries. Although the culminating point here is that the battery on this iPhone 7 Plus, because I purchased it used, is already very degraded. It's probably already at 80% health. So what I'm doing, I wouldn't say it makes a lot of sense. It's not like it makes no sense, but it doesn't make a lot of sense because it's probably going to go anyway. And also, well, now we're down to 28. So that's no good. Well, so even if it's 1% every 2 minutes, because now we're at like, we'll just round down. Percent every 2 minutes, that's still 20 minutes. We should be fine. We should be fine. Because I'm saying you never want to dip below 20 and you never want to go over 80. Those are the definite, the hard, like it really does wreaks havoc on the battery to be at either of those extremes. Obviously, nobody follows this either, but if you want to get into what's actually ethical or moral, that's it. Everybody should be doing that because battery waste is a pretty big deal in terms of the environmental impact and all that comes with that. But people don't care. I've always noticed that with stuff too. Nobody actually does anything to do anything about the environmental issues. A lot of people are just very blind to it. Again, aggressive, fast driving. Tires are one of the biggest contributors to pollution. And there's probably a lot of people who are environmentalist kind of people, and they probably still drive kind of impatient. And they might not even know. So I don't know. I think I actually am, and again, also my lack of eating out. Now, I do eat a lot of meat, which is that's not very environmental. But it just works for me very well. But it's something I've thought about. I just can't imagine not eating meat at this point because food is not a struggle for me at all anymore. Like, it tastes good. It works. The diet I'm on. And I still believe it's the cheapest way to get all nutrients. There's no way it would cost... maybe if I got protein powder or something, but good protein powder is not cheap. That stuff is not just it's not that cheap. So I wonder if I did the vegetable thing. I wonder if I don't think it's cheaper. I think vegetables are more expensive. Because you really don't get much calories with vegetables, and the only thing you're really getting is a lot of vitamins and minerals, but you're not getting a lot of necessary stuff. You're not really getting a lot of fat or protein. I mean, I'd have to use olive oil probably, but that's expensive. Well, maybe it's cheaper than butter, but I don't... Yeah, probably. I don't even know, though. Like, olive oil is pretty expensive, and a lot of other plant oils aren't really good for you. So, I don't really see how it could be less expensive. So, and the whole point is, I know I'd be more miserable, because I never liked vegetables. I just never did. I probably have that gene where your brain just detects greens as being like potentially poisonous. I've never liked vegetables. And my parents always tried to get me to eat some. It would be carrots. That was like the only thing I tolerated. So they would make me eat carrots, but I didn't even like that. And I never wanted to eat vegetables. And my mom and dad would always be mad and trying to get me to eat vegetables. But I realize now I was right all along, especially with what I know now about the anti-nutrients and the phytotoxins and the phytoesterols. I don't even know how to say that word. I guess because it would be cholesterol, phytoesterol, something like that. It's basically, I don't know, I guess I'm pretty carnivore pilled, and in my experience, it worked great. So I don't know if it works for everybody, but I'm assuming it's a good fit for me because I always hated vegetables anyway. So why? I don't know. I just think it all makes sense that I was probably just detecting that they weren't good or something. I hate fruit too. I almost would go as far as to say I hate fruit more than vegetables, which is an interesting take. I know a lot of people don't feel that way. I don't know if that is true though, because I don't know if that's true. That is kind of a crazy take. I don't like fruit though, and everybody seems to like fruit. They seem to think it's healthy too. I don't think fruit is particularly healthy. I don't know why it would be either. Because it's just to trick. It's just the plant's way of tricking you into helping spread its seed. So it's supposed to be like a sweet. I don't know why it would be nutritious or like that nutritious, because it's not. Vegetables are obviously automatically more nutritious than fruit. Although fruit is probably more designed for human consumption than a lot of so-called vegetables, given that the plant's intention is for it to be consumed. A lot of the leaves, I don't know that their purpose is for animals to consume it, or bugs or anything like that. I think plants, it's probably just animals though, because I think bugs are probably pretty immune. But any type of leaf, why would a plant want you to eat that? It's going to die if it does. And there's no reason why a plant... I'm thinking about that though, because also, I mean, animals are the same way, because an animal doesn't want to die. Oh, but an animal can run away, so it doesn't have the same inherent toxins. That's what it is. A plant can't run away, so if you just walk up and eat its leaves with no consequences, that wouldn't be in the best interest of the plant. Whereas an animal has some way to try to escape. So that's why animals are overall less toxic. It's hard to know, though, with a lot of this stuff. There's not really a ton of information. Like, there's a lot of conflicting information about it. I'm just saying what's worked for me so far. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's possible in the future it doesn't work out, but I hope it does. Because I cannot imagine going back to eating anything else. Like, I really like keto a lot. It kind of took me a couple weeks to get used to it. But it's so much better than what I was eating before. I think just gradually over time, like once I got my system down, at first it was pasta. Like I would just eat pasta every morning. And then over time, I ended up just decreasing the amount of pasta. Sorry, I didn't explain that right. Pasta with beef, sauce, and cheese was just my go-to, I think, for a period of time. Because at first I wasn't even eating breakfast. So that's first of all, no breakfast. And all I was eating was cashews and pistachios at lunch. Because it's easy, right? I don't have to prepare anything. That was what I was living off of. Whoa, we were already down to 25%. Now, I think that kind of tracks. Yep. That makes sense with what I said. It's about 1% every 2 minutes. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of what I said without opening my mouth to stall, but that's what we're ending up doing. I was eating cashews and pistachios, and that was it. So I would have that, and then when I'd get home from work, I'd have pasta. But back then, I didn't have as much meat as I do now. I had probably a lower amount of meat. Now I obviously get a proper amount of meat. So what I was getting at is, over time, I just started having less pasta and more of the other stuff. And eventually now we're at the point where, then for a while I was having pasta as a treat just on the weekends. I would have the pasta, the sauce, cheese, and beef. I think every weekend I would make that for myself once or twice. So, once or twice a week I'd have pasta, and then the rest of the days I was just having the meat cheese concoction, which I believe at the time, I don't even know if I started using butter yet. It may have just been meat and cheese. And then eventually I realized that you're actually supposed to have a lot of butter because you have to replace the carbs with fat as a fuel source. So if you're just having protein, now I was getting, I wasn't getting lean meat, but still it's not really enough fat. If you're trying to be keto, you're supposed to have more butter than protein or something like that. I didn't know that for probably a few months. Then I eventually started getting butter. Tried that out. Now I get tallow as well. I think it tastes better, honestly, to not add a lot of tallow. I still do mostly butter, but I think the tallow really adds a really, really good taste if you just use some. I mean, I'd say probably between a quarter and 30% of the butter I use, I add tallow. So it's not that much tallow in proportion to butter. I think that turns out the best. If you use more tallow, it just sort of feels like you can't taste the butter anymore and you just taste tallow. I don't really like that. I kind of like where you can't really tell it's there, but it's working as a sub-flavoring. So yeah, it's been a process. It's definitely been a process. And then, the eggs. I think at first I was just having... No, I was actually eating eggs, though, for probably longer, actually. I didn't remember. What I used to do is I used to have hard-boiled eggs, and I would eat them in the car. I would have a container that had some eggs in it. So then I did kind of start having a breakfast, because that was my breakfast. I'd eat 2 or 3 hard-boiled eggs in the car. And then sometimes I would also have my cashews and pistachios, in the car, right? Sometimes. But again, eventually we got to the point where I was heating up pasta in the morning. And then I don't remember if I stopped the egg thing at that point, or I don't even remember. Because when I switched to the pasta, I wonder if I still did the egg thing in the car. I'm not really sure. I have no idea. My routine evolved. It definitely evolved. Now, obviously, I've said it before, I just cook everything on Sunday and I have all my food for the week ready and just heat it up. So it's very efficient and tasty too. Very tasty. That's the thing why I hope I've just had so much. And I'm not even taking any supplements at the moment. That's the other thing too. But I stopped and I still feel fine. So I don't know. I do want to get back into some of the more fundamental supplements. I obviously should have a little bit of vitamin C because I don't really get any of that. I don't even like fruit. And then iodine too is a pretty good thing. I do have some, but I just haven't been taking it, which is a little bit stupid, honestly, because I've had it and I don't really get what the point of not taking it is. But I feel fine. I didn't really feel like the supplements did a whole lot. And it is true, because I've heard that supplements are only like maybe a 10 to 20% increase if we're being generous, and it mainly comes down to your primary diet. That's at least kind of my understanding of it. Like, the biggest surges in energy, mood, and all that stuff is going to come down to, are you getting adequate protein, adequate fat, the fundamentals. It's not going to come down to small things, but I could be wrong. Obviously, magnesium is another one I want to take. I think I actually will get supplements soon. I always get lazy with them anytime I take them. I love the concept of vitamins. It's super cool to research into them. It's really a cool thing for me to research into vitamins and all that stuff. I love it. And I want to be the type of person who takes them, but I always just get so lazy. And I don't like doing it. It's just not... My brain really rejects wanting to do it. And that's always happened. But I think we'll get to a point where I am going to be that person someday. Just some of these things take time, right? I'm not going to be there immediately. But I am setting the intention now, at least. So that's good. I think it's good. But yeah, I've come a long way. I've definitely come a long way with my routine and my diet, and it's kind of ironed out now. I don't really know what else there is for me to improve exactly. I just don't know. I wonder. But I hope that carnivores, though, because it depends on the person. Some people have bad cholesterol and probably can't do it, but other people don't. So I have no idea, because I haven't really taken a lot of time to look into this stuff. But I assume I'm good, because I feel so much better. Like, it has to work for me. But the whole reason why I'm saying this is it still is arguably less sustainable and efficient. Like, everybody can't eat carnivore. So I don't think it's possible, given the amount of resources it takes. So I don't know. It's kind of difficult to recommend, because I want to make sure I get my meat. And I don't really want y'all to be buying meat, because then there's less for me. You guys get what I'm putting? I'm joking. I don't know if it's possible at some point they could figure that out, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know what to do, and I think for now I'm not really thinking about the sustainability ramifications, because it's just something that works so well for me. Like, it just seems so healthy. And I don't know. I guess the other way I think about it, too, is even if the stuff they say is true, I would so much rather feel like this and live until 60 than to just eat vegetables and live until 80 but feel terrible. Like, I don't really know. It doesn't really make that much sense to me, though. Because I just don't know. I mean, I know how it works with the cholesterol in the heart and all that stuff, but it doesn't make sense to me that you could be feeling this good and it actually cuts your lifespan. I'm not really sure. We'll have to see as there, there's more science and stuff being done, and I just know there's a lot of people who are more carnivore centric now. And I've done it, and I agree. I think it's great. So I hope and again, it's because it's a diet that's tasty and it's very palatable. Like, it's easy to do. Vegetables can be kind of annoying to cook. My beef is not annoying to cook at all. Like, well, it's just ground beef, which is that is something I kind of want to look into. Actual beef, I think that would probably be better, but ground beef, there's no mess. Nothing is stuck to the pan or anything. A lot of times when people cook stuff, it's so messy. And vegetables it's just so messy, so much work, so much cutting. I just think it's insanity. I don't know how people... I'm not really into cooking, I cook what I need to, but I'm not really into cooking. It's just not my thing. I hate this light. Oh, wait, we're actually good. Yeah, this light's so confusing. I wonder if it's a cam light, though. I wonder. We could rig it. We could go in the left turn only, so it detects a car is trying to turn left to stretch the green and then just cut through. No, that's actually super risky, and that won't even work. That's not even going to work. I don't know if you guys understand what I said, but I think there's a camera that detects if somebody's turning left, and then it will switch green for them, and it extends things a little bit. But that's not a guarantee. Yo, if I make this light, my light, yo! Ooh, that was tight. But our light luck today was great. We are making great time. This is a good Friday. I was going to... Well, we don't have time. TLDR with Shla. Today we talked about... I have no idea. I literally have no idea. Sorry. No TLDR with Shla. I'm just not doing it. Bye, Shla. Shla out.